What's up guys, Compound Brothers here to do a little review on our lacrosse boots that we used for the 2021 season. I'm Anthony.
Charlie.
I used the 800 grain ALPHABURLY boots this year, the 18-inch model. I actually ran these all season. I didn't end up using the 1600 grain like Charlie has here. I ran mine from early September all the way to mid-January that we have for our urban zone season, so we ran those there. Big thing that we decided to run this year that made a huge difference towards the end was the UGG inserts. You can see that they're pretty worn out.
Big time. These honestly kind of changed the game. Got the idea from somebody else actually, but these are available on Amazon. They're honestly like 20 bucks, and honestly completely changed as far as for comfort of the boots, at least for me when we were in the field. I actually need to go and buy a couple more pairs to just have a couple spares, but compared to just the normal inserts that actually come with the boots, like with lacrosse, I mean, these are obviously just generic super thin inserts. The big thing is your feet sweating, and then obviously that's when they actually start to get super cold. Is lacrosse boots don't breathe the best, but with the wool inserts I never really had a problem with my feet getting super sweaty and then becoming cold because of it.
Right, and we, like we said, we ran them from early season all the way to late season, up from 80, 85 degrees down to, I think our coldest morning was right around zero, -1 or 2 degrees. And where we're hunting, we're walking, almost a mile back into some of these places for our hanging hunts early morning, and they're extremely comfortable, extremely waterproof, and warm. Honestly, I had zero issues with the 800 grain. These come in right at 5.2 pounds, I believe they are, and yours are 5.5.
Yeah, these are a little bit heavier with being 5.5 pounds, but honestly, I didn't notice a difference. I used to run some Red Wing shoes, Irish Setter, in their Hunt series. These are 800 grain as well. Honestly, I felt like my feet got cold all the time. Walking through snow, I mean, we're hunting in Wisconsin, so when it snows out there, or earlier season if it rains or anything like that, those boots, honestly, they would get a little bit wet. It felt like it was honestly trapping the cold in there, and it didn't matter if I was putting toe warmers in there. I felt like when we were doing our in the stand hunts, I was always turning on the little buddy heater and putting my feet right in front of it, because for me, when I'm in there, the only thing that usually ever gets cold is my hands and my toes. And once that starts, if I don't address that, then that's when the rest of my body actually gets cold.
There's nothing worse than when your fingertips are hurting. They are so cold.
Yeah.
Physically hurting.
Yeah.
And speaking of the little buddy heater, I had these a year earlier than Charlie, and thanks to him running the little buddy heater, I actually burnt my boots, and there's a little scuff mark on there, but
that's situational awareness.
Right.
He also missed a buck that year as well. So
the one that you shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's actually this one right here. Nice mounted guy, little 6-pointer, but for my first buck, being a bow buck, I got no complaints.
It was fun. It was a good memory.
We'll put the picture up too. That was a different day, completely different camo. I was actually wearing those old Irish Setter boots, and my feet were cold that day.
That was good times. Just to kind of go more in depth on what we would run later in the season if it's really cold. I have a couple pairs of these heated socks. These are some ones that I just bought on Amazon out of a whim, just to kind of give them a try, and they really work well. I ended up liking them so much, I bought some Field Shear Bluetooth socks that kind of changed the game a little bit, because it's a pain when you have all your layers on, your bibs go over the boot here, and then you have to press this button to activate the sock. It's just not ideal. Rather than quick pulling out your phone, turning on the sock, 3 different settings on it. It's extremely nice. So I would recommend that if you find your feet still get cold with this. It's a no-brainer. I mean, for 60, 70 bucks to be able to sit all day during the rut and to be genuinely comfortable, it's an absolute no-brainer.
The battery's also not the greatest on these, so you're kind of turning it on, turning it off once your feet get warm, which obviously you're not going to keep it on all day long. It's just kind of warm it up a little bit and then turn them off, so to save that battery. But yeah, I mean, to have to shove down into your boot every single time, and then am I on low? Am I on medium? Am I on high?
Or did I actually ever turn it on?
Yeah, exactly.
These ones were $50. The field shear ones I believe run in at about $100, so they're a little more, but I personally think it's worth it. There's nothing worse than being cold. Your toes are cold or your hands are cold. It's completely miserable, and having to buy these all the time is just such an inconvenience in my opinion, and less comfortable. You buy these once and you're done. We'll link all this stuff in our description.
In the description,
yeah.
it'll be.
I was going to say subscription.
Yeah, well, maybe eventually you guys will subscribe. I actually do it differently.
Okay.
Than Anthony. So I actually ran the heated socks in 2020, and honestly, I didn't love them for myself. I would forget to charge these at night, and then having to put them in, you got to find outlets. Outlets are always so scarce if you're in your RV or wherever it is. So I would forget that. And then I don't love the way that they really fit either. That all depends. There's a million different ones. You'd be able to find one that you would like. But for myself, I actually just run the Smart Wool hunt socks. The super long ones, so these honestly come all the way up to my knee, so I never have to deal with them falling down or anything in the boot, especially with obviously the taller boots. And on top of even Anthony saying kind of the toe warmers and stuff being an inconvenience, I actually personally like them. If we're going to be honest, I don't know how well they really do work, but I can tell you my feet were never cold once this season, even on that day when we were down to...
Right, -1 or whatever.
Yeah, -1, -2 weather. And I used both of them, the big ones that kind of go over the whole foot, and even the ones that are just on the front on the toe warmers. But yeah, never had a problem with 1600.
Did you think yours got warm when you ran them in the 85 degree, just kind of from walking out there?
Well, when it was 85, I didn't have them
you wear anything that gets pretty warm, but they weren't miserable by any means.
No.
Okay.
No, I never really had a time where my feet were too hot.
Or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously I wasn't wearing the Smart Wool hunt socks. I think I was just wearing... honestly normal mid-calf socks at the beginning when it was that 85 degree weather. But yeah, I was never too concerned obviously about my feet getting cold or too hot early season in the 1600s. And honestly, when you look at this site, the 1600s say that they're good for anywhere from -70 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Honestly, I couldn't disagree more. I don't know how well that they would work down to -70. I think my toes would probably be freezing.
I agree. These ones run in at -50 to 40, and I couldn't even imagine wearing these at 40 degrees without the UGG inserts.
Yeah.
I think they would, if you're sitting for more than 3-4 hours, that's even might be stretching it.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be cold. There's no doubt. I don't agree with that. That's just our personal opinion. Maybe we have cold toes.
Yeah.
But the UGG inserts definitely made a huge game changer. I would say they're comfortable without that to maybe 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Then that's when I start running those UGG inserts below that.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. I absolutely loved them. Super easy too. We kind of run all of the Sitka gear with it in the elevated 2 pattern with hunting kind of up in the Midwest. In all the timber area, so the elevated 2 pattern on this, it goes perfectly with all the other stuff I have. Blended really well, and honestly they couldn't be easier to put on. These little straps back here I actually really like to secure down, hold your pants in there as well from pulling up or anything when you're walking.
And then there's also just a little clip here that when you're done strapping it, you'll just clip it kind of right here. And then you don't have the strap hanging around it.
The other thing I was going to point out too, I think these things are going to be good, honestly, for, I don't even know, another 4 seasons maybe.
I would imagine. These have been run 2 seasons. I don't know, we put 40-50 sits in a season.
Oh yeah.
At minimum. And you can tell they're starting to fade a little, just the pattern, but the performance is still there. They're, like I said, they're maybe cracking or fading a little on the pattern, but as far as performance goes, second to none still.
So the other thing that obviously touch on with the price of it, if you take a look at least where we are at with the 1600s, they're basically coming in right around $230 plus tax, wherever it would be, but more than worth it. I mean, there's nothing worse than being out in the field and having cold feet, having them get wet, or having to lace them up. You know, this takes out the whole fact of having to worry about lacing it up. And when it's cold out there, especially in those negative degree days, and you got to sit there and take your gloves off because you got to lace it up. I mean,
yeah,
slip it on, don't have to worry about anything.
Go all the way up your boots 20 times.
Yeah,
I hate those little laces. They are such a pain.
Oh yeah.
So these ones running right at $210. If you buy them online, they have been back ordered. I've seen. So if you see them in stock, I would recommend getting them right away, especially if you're looking at this right before the season.
Yeah.
I remember looking at Charlie's in around July last year, and they were 5-6 weeks back ordered.
Yeah.
So if you find these maybe at a store, or like I said, links in our description, I would jump on these right away if this is something that you're looking to get into. We haven't found anything better. We've tried a few different types, but as far as being scent free, warm, waterproof, this is your best all-around option in our opinion. We spray scent-free stuff on these right before we go out, and I haven't had a deer catch my ground scent, and I couldn't even tell you how long. In all honesty,
they've walked right over where I've walked and had no issues. I mean, we've had, you can probably put a video in here, I've had 4 does walk in right over where I even walked. They didn't even stop to try to sniff or see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, more so the fact of maybe they busted the stand because the stand has been there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they know to look there, but you know, that's just learning the hunt and learning to hang and hunt, go other places.
I think that about wraps it up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe this video. That would mean the world to us. Like I said, we'll have links in the description for all this stuff.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys watching.